Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
Hello.
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 Oh, hello. Hello, son.
Hello. Right.
Hi.
More people joining in here, just admitting more.
This is your mother. This is Valerie.
This
That's your
is
Hello.
father.
Hello, everyone. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
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 Another one. Okay, so we have nine people so far, I believe.
I would wait. They're always
Oh, it's early yet.
They're always
It's 5:02.
Okay.
They've got to redo the links.
Okay, is my audio all right?
Yeah.
Loud and clear, Clifford. Loud and clear.
Good, lovely. Right.
Yeah.
Hi, May.
Hi, Angelo. You okay? All good?
Yes, you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
I think you need a haircut, Hugh, mate.
Yeah. Well, release point is coming soon.
Very rude.
My wife's telling me I'm very rude.
Very
to
personal.
Yeah. I'll say the same to you, Jeff. I'm afraid I can't say the same to you, though, Jeff. You need a haircut.
You. Right.
I should have combed my hair.
Oh,
Hi.
Oh, look,
Another one.
we've got an interloper. He's not a member.
Oh,
Oh.
Right, we're up to 13 now. While we're waiting for people to appear, I'd like to jot down any questions. I'd like to start collecting questions, basically. So if you have any IT or internet marketing questions, please fire away, obviously in an orderly fashion, and I'll jot them down and decide who is going to answer them, be it me or my daughter Melody. Oh, okay, no questions then. Lovely, that's great.
yeah, I have a question.
Right,
Can you see me?
I can see you, yes indeed, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an enormous amount of difficulty with the correlation between Instagram and Facebook because I've sort of fixed it a bit now, but not quite sure if I've fixed it properly. That Facebook is saying, because I've spoken to them about this, that I can only have one Instagram account connected to one Facebook account,
Yeah.
right? So what was happening was that my Instagram with all my nudie posters, etc., with all the bits covered, of course, were going to my Facebook social page, which I didn't want it to go there. So I've somehow managed to change the Instagram to now go to my business page. Well, I suppose the business page is my Life Drawing with Cheryl page. But then if I put anything on Instagram, like picture of my dog or going for a walk, it still goes to my Life Drawing with Cheryl page, which I don't want it to go there. So I've got to then, I'm just wondering if it's worth, I've been told it isn't, but I'm still querying the fact that it might be worth having two Instagram accounts. But if I have two Instagram accounts, apparently I've got to have another email.
Yes, as far as I understand it, unlike Facebook, where you can have multiple logins, you know, you can access different pages and different groups and things all from one login. As far as I understand, hello Margaret, as far as I understand with Instagram, you need a separate email address for every account that you have. But I'll go into that in more detail, but I do have to say your question's quite specific, so I'm not entirely sure what the answer might be directly. Do you know, Martin?
No, I also have just a quick question. On my Instagram account, can people actually copy my postings in there? Because I seem to think so few people have been able to copy them, and I don't see how they can take them off and put them on their own side.
Are you talking about copying images?
Yes, photos that I put on there, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, on Facebook, it's relatively easy to download images. Are you aware on Instagram it may be just as simple to do that?
Well, I know when I try to copy, say, someone else's thing, it just says you can save it to your own on Instagram, but you cannot. I couldn't download anybody else's. So
okay, I'll check into that then as well. Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I've got one.
Please.
What is the best sort of platform to try and sell something on the internet?
Okay, best platform for selling. Yep.
I think Instagram are going to start a sales platform, aren't they? It might
Very
not
possibly, yes, yes.
Might not be the best
Does,
place.
does everybody have their own websites? Who here has a website of their own? Angela, Cheryl. Okay, so just three.
Well,
okay, three people have.
It's a little complicated.
I'm completing.
John, hello.
Compiling one.
Okay, right. But of those websites, which people have e-commerce enabled, so can actually sell directly from the website? Angela, okay.
But I'm remodeling mine at the moment, so there's lots of things that are not showing.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you questions about a society website that I'm involved with, but it is very specific. It's not likely to be of general interest to everybody here.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, can you briefly give me the idea of what it is, or is it more specific, like a particular technical thing?
Well, it's a local history society website, and at the moment we have one that was set up by amateurs, and it needs to be sorted out, and we need to think about what the best one, or how best to go about having a replacement.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I
Yes.
certainly talk a lot about that. I mean, okay, basically just, I've got a few more people waiting here. Let me just admit them. Yes, carry on.
I wanted to amplify what Tamar was saying. Mine packed up. We are a society almost devoid of anyone who understands this sort of thing.
Right.
And we need to know really the best sort of site to have and how to work it. And is that right? Do you think so, Tamar?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Whether
yeah.
we should get someone to set it up for us, or whether we can set one up ourselves.
Yes, yes, I can talk a lot about that as well. Have any of you had experience now with the Open Studios website? Who's here is on the Harrow Open Studios website? Who may you are?
Yeah, I'm quite impressed by their updating that Sam has done.
Yes.
It seems very modern. Well, I think we alluded to that the other night.
Yes.
But,
can you sell directly off the site?
I don't think so. But I've not actually tried that. But from
Right.
If you want to sell from the site, I think people put your information, people contact you. So they don't do anything to do with selling, but
No.
if you want to sell, people contact you, I suppose, if they want to buy. That's
Right.
it.
Okay.
So sort of simplified it.
Okay.
Yeah, the question. Can I ask a question, please?
Please.
Yeah, it was just about, you may have been talking about it the other night, actually. I think I came halfway through, but trying to set your own sort of website up, do it yourself. I wondered if you could give us a few possible websites that would be, well, a few possibilities. I mean, I know about Wix, but that's about the, and Site 123, but those are the only two I've come across. I know there are many others.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I will include that as well.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Pamela?
I've got two very simple questions. I'm sorry. But one is, I don't know how to do the electronic hand.
What is that? Sorry, the electronic hand? What do you mean?
When you want to ask a question, you press something on the computer and a yellow hand comes up.
Oh, really? I've not heard of that before. Does anyone know if Zoom does that?
I think it's on Zoom.
It's on Zoom.
Yes,
It's on Zoom. It's on the right.
I can't see it along the bottom where it usually is.
I'm afraid, Pamela, we're old-fashioned here. We just put our hands up like you did.
It comes up with reactions.
Oh, I see, yes. So
Yeah.
bottom right, you've got reactions. And if you click on reactions, you have a
Oh.
variety of icons that you can
Ooh.
click to indicate how you're feeling about something.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps that's where it's
Found
at.
it.
Ah,
Like I say, I'm kind of old-fashioned. I just like to put my hand up. So, Jonathan, yes.
Hi.
Other question is, can you get Instagram on the computer, or has it got to be on a smartphone?
You can get it on the computer, but you are limited as to what you can do. You can look at it and you can browse through people's postings, but I'm not sure whether you can post your own. I think you actually need to be on the phone to post your own. I think it's just a viewer. So the answer would be yes and no. It's basic, but you can get it, but it is a very basic viewer. There's not a lot you can do.
I didn't catch the name.
Sorry, who said that?
I didn't catch the name.
Sorry, the name of?
The software you're talking about.
Oh, Instagram. You were talking about Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Oh.
Pamela asked if you
Knowledge.
could. Pamela asked if you could get Instagram on a computer rather than on the phone. And yes, you can, but you are limited to what you can do with it because it is a. It's
I
mainly
actually
designed for
just went
phone
on
use.
Instagram on my laptop today just to look at it, and very limited. You're right. You
Yes.
couldn't post anything. You could only view it. And
Yes, no, it is. It is. It's a shame for a variety of reasons, which I'll talk about later on. But Instagram has been developed really primarily as a mobile phone application. It's not. It's that generation, so they're less interested in desktop users because people take photographs on their phone. It's a nice, quick way to go straight from taking the photo to showing it to everybody else, basically. So yeah.
You can do it on the iPad, Clifford.
You can do it on your iPad though.
Right, well that makes sense because it's a sort of, the iPad is a sort of, the operating system is similar to phones, iPhones. So it's the same, whatever they call the Apple operating system is similar to the iPhone. So yeah, that makes sense.
What
Hello?
about? Sorry, keep forgetting.
Go on, Angela.
What about any other of the social media sites? Will you cover anything from them?
I'll just talk generally and we'll see what emerges out of what I'm saying. I suppose what I'll do is I'll stop at intervals to ask if there are any questions that relate to what it is I'm talking about. And hopefully in that process, we can go through some of the stuff that I'd like to talk about and find out what's relevant most to your lot, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so nobody else has joined in the last couple of minutes, so I'll press on now, and if anybody else appears, I might just need to do a little recap. So as you know, I'm Clifford White, son of Cookie and Jeffrey White, or Ruth and Jeffrey White, and I've been involved in the internet since it began in 1995. Well, actually, obviously it didn't begin in 1995, it began in the 60s, I believe, but my involvement started in the mid-1990s. I was quite fortunate in a way because prior to the internet, I was, oh, sorry, someone else has just appeared. Prior to the internet, I was using a computer in my music studio. As you can see behind me here, there's various records because my first and original career was as a music composer. And I started writing and composing music in the 80s. And so I had a computer quite early on in my studio helping me make music. So I was kind of one of the few people that I knew who actually had a computer, and people would come around and go, "Well, what's that? What's that doing?" I say, "What's a computer?" "Oh, what's it doing?" "It's playing music for me." So I had one already. And then when the mid-1990s, a friend of mine, I was chatting to a friend of mine, and I said, you know, I'm looking for a change of career. You know, I'm quite interested in something that might be creative to do. He says, "Oh, Cliff, you've got to check this thing out. It's going to be huge. It's called the internet." I said, what's that? He said, oh yes, it's going to be amazing. So I said, I've never heard of it before. He said, come round, I'll show you. So I went round to his place in Victoria in London, and he sat me down and he said, right, he said, I'm going to join something called a news group, which was kind of, I won't even explain what a news group is. It's the equivalent to a Facebook group now, only a lot more basic. And he joined the news group and he typed a message on the news group, and the message was, has anybody heard of Clifford White? And anyway, so about an hour went by, we had lunch, and when we came back, there was a message from China, a message from Australia, 2 messages from Australia and a message from China, and their messages saying, yes, we've heard of Clifford White, we have his music. So I suddenly realized, oh my God, this is incredible. This is like communicating with the whole world, as unheard of. So at that point, I was sold on the whole idea of the internet. This was really before web pages and websites started to happen. So I started to study it, and I basically took my computer that I was using for music and I started to use it for internet, basically. And I'm sure there are some of you who will remember the old days of the internet where you had to dial up with using a modem, and it would take like 10 minutes just to get on the internet, and it would go and make all these awful noises. And then you keep your fingers crossed that you actually even manage to get on the internet or stay on the internet, because back in those days, the connection was abysmal. And I'm sure you also remember when it was maybe you remember when there were no pictures. It was almost all just text. And it wasn't until much later that pictures started to come in. And I remember how excited we were when there was the first picture, the first GIF, because they were called GIFs then, before JPEGs came along, it was GIF. Yes. And then GIFs became animated. Oh my God, animated GIF. Oh, the excitement of spending time making an animation.
I remember it more.
We were all quite enthusiastic back in those days. Anyway, the reason why I tell you this whole story is literally just to sort of paint the picture of what my journey's been. Just to cut a long story short, within a year or two, someone asked me if I could get them on the internet. And I said, yes, you're going to need something called a website. And of course, that involved explaining at length what a website was. And actually, to a degree, is still complicated to actually fully grasp what a website's for. But at the end of the day, got him online and he started to do business. And before you know it, I was being asked, different people, can you do my website? Can you do my website? And within a couple of years, I had the beginnings of a business, and that grew and grew. And within about, I think it was somewhere between 10 and 12 years, I was located at Elstree Film Studios. I had 10 members of staff. I had 4 offices. So I had a big office in the main Elstree Studios building. And then I had 3 smaller offices used for designers, graphic designers, marketing people. It was a real big business at one stage. And we designed lots of websites and did a lot of marketing campaigns for different companies. And that was great, but it was very stressful. Dealing with internet is a very tricky technical thing. So if you've ever felt frustrated or aggravated or annoyed by your whatever it is you happen to be doing on the internet or with your computer, and you just want to scream and you want to throw the computer out the window, well, everybody feels like that. And I felt like that particularly badly because I was doing it for lots of people, and it was very technical and very complicated, some of it. And eventually I got to a point where I just thought, I'm not really sure I want to keep doing this at the professional level that I'm doing. I'd rather sort of try something else. And a friend of mine said, well, why don't you start teaching? I thought, well, that's quite a good idea. And seeing as we're based at Elstree Film Studios, or we were at that stage, it was a perfect place to start teaching. So we effectively moved from being a design company. We kept designing, but not so much. We became teachers. And several of the people who worked for me started to teach, and we got very popular doing that. And we had the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, a British Telecom, British Gas, P&O Ferries, several big football teams. We were teaching lots and lots of different companies how to do the internet. And effectively, that went on for another decade or so. And I still teach a little bit now. All right, I'm not teaching so much now. Now I kind of return to music, but I'm still teaching intermittently. And today is my honor to be talking to you lot. I won't say teaching because I'm not in that quite the same teaching mode, but I'll be covering similar sorts of things. All right, so that's the potted history, quick potted history. I'll start off at the very beginning, the basics, with the internet side of things and websites, okay? And the first thing I'll say is that I'm going to use a word that you must have all heard already, domain name. Okay, so hands up, who's heard of the phrase domain name? Yep, quite a few hands. Not everyone though, but a few. Okay. Right, so the first distinction to make is that your domain name is not your website. Now, some people think, but when I type in my name.com or whatever, my website comes up. So my domain name is my website. No, it isn't. Okay, that's the first distinction to make. Most people make the mistake of thinking the two things are the same thing. They're not the same thing. The best way to imagine it is your telephone number and your telephone. So your domain name is your telephone number and your website is your telephone. Okay, you can have a telephone number and no telephone. Of course, people who ring it won't be able to reach you because you haven't got a telephone, but you can still have a telephone number without a telephone, and you can have a telephone without a telephone number. And again, nobody can reach you, but you do own the telephone. So it's exactly the same with the domain name and the internet. The domain name is the telephone number. Without a domain name, I can't find you. I don't know what to dial. And effectively, it's the same sort of thing on the internet. When you type in a domain name, you're typing in a telephone number. And if there isn't a telephone at the other end or a website at the other end, there's nothing there. But the telephone number still exists. Okay, so the two are separate things, domain name, website. But what happens is when you look for a domain name, it points to the website. So your domain name exists independently of the website, but if you type in a domain name, it points you to the website. So my domain name, or no, actually I'll give you a better example, Harrow Art Society, domain name, website. Domain name's over here. You type in harrowartsociety.co.uk, I think it is, and it points you over to the website. Okay, so everybody can give me a nod that they get that so far. Good.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Now that means in a way that it's quite good because I could then, I've got a Harrow Art Society website here, but let's say I want to start building a new one. How do I do that? Well, I can build it over here. And then when it's finished, I just change the pointing bit, the domain, to point over there. See what I mean? So it's quite easy to actually update a website. You don't need to change the original one. You can build a new one if you want and point the domain. And the domain name can point anywhere. It can point in any different company, whatever you want. It could point to another website if you want. So that makes things quite easy to change. Well, I say easy, they're never easy. It's always lots of head scratching and hair tearing out. But in general, the process can be quite easy and straightforward. So, domain name and website. Okay, what do I tell you about next? Right, websites. Oh no, actually, let's just talk about domain names for a second. So I want to buy a new domain name. I can buy them from lots of different places. I have domain names, I buy them from 1&1, but there's lots of other companies, GoDaddy and UK Fast, and there's lots of different places you can buy domain names. And in general, you're paying somewhere between £10 and £20 a year for each domain name. The price difference is usually to do with the type of domain name it is. So co.uk often means, well, it actually does mean it's a British website. So when you have something.co.uk, it means that's usually a British website. And those domain names tend to be around about £10 a year. Then you've got .com, which is actually an American, it represents an American website, but people don't necessarily use it specifically for America. They use it to mean kind of like commercial or like a corporate entity. But in general, .com kind of means America. but I have a .com and I'm in Britain. So it kind of makes things confusing. I think what happened was in the early days of the internet, .com was meant to be American, but actually people said, hey man, that's cool. It sounds professional. Let's have a .com. So now you get .coms all around the world, and .com doesn't really mean America anymore. It just means, I don't know, it's just a way of perceiving it as being a professional business. So I mean, I have a .com, but I also have some .co.uk's as well. .com's usually more expensive, about £20 a year, although you can get cheaper deals. And you can buy them, pay more years. You can pay like 2 or 3 years and get it cheaper. So that's how it works. Okay, so I think I've told you everything there is to know about domain names that you really need at this point. So we'll go on to websites. Okay, now your website, like I said, doesn't have to be in the same place as your domain name. They're two separate entities. And your website can be built with a variety of different things. Two of the most popular things at the moment are WordPress and Wix. Okay, they are, what's the best way of imagining them? I suppose you can imagine them as building platforms, platforms you can build your website. I mean, a lot of the ideas about construction apply to a website as well. When you're thinking about building a website and people say building a website, it kind of is like that. It's construction. And just like construction, you can't really start building until you know what it is you're building. I mean, you can start messing about and you can kind of move that over there and put that over there and that sort of thing. But actually it ends up being a huge mess. Usually the general idea is you plan first. You sit down and you plan what your website's going to be. You think, okay, so what do I need? I need a home page. Do I need an about page? Maybe. Should I have a gallery? Possibly. Do I need a contact page? So all these thoughts usually occur first, the planning. And it's only once you kind of put your proper plan together as to what it is you want to do, then it's the time to build the thing. Of course, it's a bit of a catch-22 though, because how do you plan something if you don't really know much about a website? It's like, I don't really know what I'm planning. It's a bit of a tricky one. Sometimes it's good to mess about first. And that's how I started back in the 90s. I just started messing about. I didn't really have a plan. I just thought, I'll just put some pictures on here and I'll be creative and I'll put some background there. And that was great fun. And you do learn a lot, but it's good, as you no doubt know, being artists, there's a difference between improvising something and just seeing where you end up. Sometimes you'll get lucky and it'll turn out fine. Often it does. Sometimes it turns out to be a mess or a waste of time. And it's basically the same with a website. If you've not planned it first, you don't know what you're going to end up with. It is often a good idea, especially if you're doing something from a professional point of view or a business point of view, is you plan first. Okay. I'll talk about planning a little bit later. I'm just going to carry on with websites. So the two platforms that are popular at the moment is WordPress and Wix. Now, WordPress is actually a slightly older platform. In a way, I can go into it in more detail, and I do when I teach this. I spend a whole day just teaching the basics of internet. But I'm not going to do that, obviously, that now, because I don't want to blow your brains. It'd just be too much. But effectively, there's been 4 levels of it. There's been 4 phases of internet design, web design. Phase 1 was what I started with, which was quite frankly just sitting down and coding, which I'm not even going to, I'm just going to say the word coding, but I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to scare you guys. But when I started, you had to just code. There was nothing to help you. There was no WordPress, there was no Wix. But that was phase 1. Phase 2 was programs that you could buy that would help you build a website. I don't know whether anyone here would ever remember a program called Dreamweaver. You might have heard of it. Okay, there's some hands going up. That's lovely. Dreamweaver was a program made by Adobe, and you must have heard of Adobe because they do Photoshop, Illustrator, Lightroom. I mean, they are probably one of the biggest software companies in the world. And they created something called Dreamweaver, which was meant to help you build a website. And it was quite helpful. But of course, I learned code, so I was quite used to building them by hand. And when Dreamweaver came along, I thought, oh, I'm not using that. No, that's too easy. Well, I don't want to do it like that. And I was sort of one of those old stick in the muds who refused to use Dreamweaver. Oh, apparently we're actually going to end in 10 minutes. So anyone who wants to carry on, please please revisit the link in the description when this ends. It probably will suddenly end because I'll just carry on talking until it ends. I won't even notice. So my apologies in advance if I don't stop to warn everyone again. I'll just carry on while I'm in the role. So that phase 2 was Dreamweaver, which was the software that helped you build a website, and that was quite useful to many people. Phase 3 were things like WordPress. So it was a whole new way of doing things where you didn't need any software. You could do it all through your browser, through Chrome or through Internet Explorer or Firefox, whatever it was you used to browse the internet, you could build your website just using that. And that was a revelation to lots of people. And WordPress was one of the leading programs for that. There were some others. There was something called Joomla, and there was something called Drupal, and they are still around, but WordPress won that competition. Basically, it was in the lead, and it is still in the lead. I use WordPress a lot. WordPress is really good. It's quite sophisticated. There's loads of stuff you can do with it. It's very it can get very complicated.
Yeah.
So when people say to me, Cliff, I want to have a website, what do you recommend? Usually I start with WordPress or Wix, but actually then what I do is I start warning people about WordPress because WordPress can get really deep and complicated and frustrating and annoying, pulling your hair out. I mean, you can wonder where all my hair's gone. You know, it's gone over the last 20 years of doing websites. Anyway, so WordPress is still a very good platform, but it is what I would call last generation. The new generation of platforms are things that are, they call them cloud-based, because cloud is the new term now for the internet. Calling it the internet anymore isn't really that cool. We obviously needed a new term, so they're calling it cloud. So it's now in the cloud. Do you keep all your data in the cloud? And Wix is a cloud-based platform. In other words, actually, the truth is it's no different from WordPress, really. You use your browser. You use Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer to do your website. However, the difference is Wix is much more, it's more creative in many ways because it's there in front of you. If you want to move a box, you just click on the box, drag it and leave it there and it stays there. If you want to add a title, click on the title, double click, type what you want, and it stays there. So it's visual. Wix is a very visual way of doing things. It's still a bit complicated. It still makes your head spin a bit sometimes. But in general, Wix is much more straightforward. You want to do something, you click on it, you type, or you put your picture there, and that's where it stays. WordPress isn't like that. WordPress is like you have to keep going around the back door. You've got the front door. That's front of WordPress. That's the page you see. That's if you visit the website, that's the page you see. So you're coming there. And then if you want to actually change the page, you've got to come around here. You've got to log into the page, make the change, and then you've got to go back around here and go, oh, does it look any good? No, it doesn't look very good now. I'm going to go back again. Right, I'm going to make some more changes. Right, is that now different? Oh, yeah, that's better. So it really is more difficult to make changes with WordPress. But it's very powerful, so it depends what you want. Yeah, I see two hands, and it is actually a very good place for me to pause, so I'm pausing. Who would like to go first? Marcia?
I just want to ask you, what about Vistaprint platform compared to Wix, as far as usability and ease of use is concerned? I'm using that, but it's the only one I've ever used.
There are quite a few cloud-based editors. So Wix is by no means the only one. There's Squarespace, there's Weebly, there's loads of them. I wasn't aware that Vistaprint has one, but fair enough. They're also joining the party. I think the truth is it boils down to this. Wix is the leader at the moment because it's the most popular. In which case, the theory is, and it's not always necessarily true, but the theory is the most popular platform will give you the most functionality. In other words, it will give you the most things that you can do. All right. Because if you think about it, if the demand is there, they're going to want to supply that demand. They're going to want to give you lots of things that you'll be able to do. And because Wix is the most popular, the theory is Wix will give you the most things that you can do. They've been going on quite a while. They're quite established. I don't have any personal preferences. I did try Squarespace and I thought, wasn't that great. I didn't like it that much. Prior to Squarespace, I tried Weebly, I think. And again, wasn't enamored with that. Even Wix is not perfect. It's not perfect. In fact, to be honest with you, there is no perfect. I think I made the joke the other day. Obviously, some of you weren't here for that, but in our committee meeting, I was talking briefly about this. And I said that the day will come where you will just be able to sit in front of your computer and go, computer, yes, Clifford, I'd like a website, please. Yes, that'd be great, Clifford. What would you like? Can you make it? I've got 50 pictures and 10 pages of text. Just go ahead and do it. Yes, I'll do it for you. And that'll be it. It'll do it all by itself and it won't even need me to help it. But those days are not here yet, I'm afraid. So if you want a website now, you've still got to do it, kind of do it yourself or get some mug like me to help you do it. But, you know, Vistaprint's probably fine, but they are competing with Wix. So it's up to you whether you feel that you're happy with the platform. To be honest with you, if you're happy with it and it does what you want it to do, that's perfectly fine. But if you're looking for something that's got, if you're looking for the leader, the current leader in the cloud game, so to speak, Wix is the leader and it will give you more to play with. That's all. Angela, yes.
Yes, if I remember rightly, Wix is a point and click setup, isn't
Correct.
it? It's much easier than WordPress.
Yes,
But
it is.
for a little while, I wasn't able to run my site and someone else was running it for me and they've uploaded to WordPress, which I love, 2 softwares because I've got some rather fancy stuff going on my site and I just can't, and I can't remember their names. I hate them so much. And I haven't a clue how to use them.
Right.
So I don't know what to do about it.
What I generally do, and if any of you have WordPress websites or plan to have WordPress websites, or indeed plan to have any websites done by anyone, what I always recommend is that what you state up front is you say, I want you, i.e. the developer, the builder, whoever's making the website, I want you to make a video that I can watch that shows me how to use the thing. Okay. Yeah. So I always do that for my clients. I say, if you want the website and you want to update it yourself, I want them to update it themselves. You know, it means that I haven't got to run around after them updating their website. They can do it themselves. That's the beauty of this modern era of web. But they will forget. People will forget. I forget. I mean, I forget how to do things. So I make myself a little video, Cliff. This is what you click on. Then you go here. Then you go there. Then you put the picture in. La, 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 la. And I put it on YouTube. Make a little video, screen recording, as they call it, recording myself doing things on screen, pop it onto YouTube and leave it there. And they can watch it whenever they like. And it refreshes their memory and reminds them. So I would certainly request that from the people who did your thing, if they're capable of doing it, which they should be able to, or get someone else like me to do a little video for you so that you can then watch it and work out how to do
I might do that, Clifford.
One thing
Can you remind us how to join the meeting again? Because we've only got less than a minute left.
Thank you very much for mentioning that. The email that you receive with a link in it, all you have to do is just go back to the same meeting again. Okay?
Click on that.
It'll come to an end in any second now. Just rejoin the meeting, click on the link again, and I'll let you in again. Okay?
One thing about, there's a guy on Vistaprint available 24 hours a day who helps you anytime you come across a problem, obviously based in the US. And there's online help all the time for anything, which is very useful. That's
very good. I mean, obviously, again, how much of that is sales pitch and how much of that do they actually deliver? But no, yes, sure.
They do. They do. I've called on them quite often.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, the problem is how much can they help you with? Because unless they can show, how am I doing?
You're doing really well. There's kind of no use for me. I was expecting.
No, we'll get to you. They've got Instagram questions here. I'm going to pass them over to you. I haven't got time for Instagram.
Well, it's fine because I keep wondering, like, should I jump in at something?
Oh, it's familiar faces. No. Lovely.
I'm back.
See how many people can handle part 2.
Oh, I haven't got my video up.
There's quite a few. 11. Right, so Marcia, yes, I was just answering it. If Vistaprint offer that sort of thing, the problem is they can't really show you what to do because it's a chat window, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's an online number that you can call if the chat isn't good enough.
Okay.
But one thing they did, which was terrible, I had a website with them for a long time, I don't know, 2012 or something. And then I found I'd lost most of my recent pictures on it. And it was full of blogs and images showing stage by stage stuff.
Right.
And it all went. And then they told me they'd changed their platform and it didn't work on Safari web browser anymore. I had to use Chrome and, you know, they couldn't retrieve any of the past pages. So I had to start completely again using Chrome instead of Safari.
It's very interesting you say that because it allows me to segue into pros and cons, basically. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because we are limited by time, but you actually have mentioned there a couple of pros and cons. One of the biggest cons with using a platform like Wix, i.e. a cloud-based platform, is that there is no backup. Okay, there is no backup of your data. Now you might say, oh, but the company tells me that they back up the website. I never believe them. I never trust them. I've been in that situation so many times where a backup's promised and you say, go on, bring the backup back then because something's gone wrong. Oh, well, we don't have the images or we don't have the data or the backup is like 10 years old or something ridiculous. There is no way to back up a cloud website. Wix, you can't back up your website. If Vistaprint, you probably can't back up your website. So it's one of the big disadvantages of using a cloud-based platform. Now you might say to me, well, Cliff, that's a deal breaker. If I can't back up the website, what's the point in having it? Well, it's a good argument, but there are also cons to WordPress. There are big cons to WordPress. For instance, and again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but for instance, security. With WordPress, WordPress is quite easy to hack. Because it's a software that's available to millions of people out there, there are a lot of people who know how to hack it quickly. So if you've got this isn't a problem if you're just running a little website, you're not likely to get hacked. Why should anybody bother? But if your website becomes popular and successful, gets more attention, sooner or later, someone will try and hack it, and websites are easy to hack. And so consequently, in order to make WordPress more secure, you have to take a bit of time and make it secure, and you have to think about passwords and you have to think about security. With Wix, you don't have to worry about security. They take care of all of that. So just in that example, I've shown you one con for each platform and one pro for each platform. It's not a perfect world, like I'm saying. That's just, as long as you know the ups and the downs of all the scenarios, you just do the best you can and you make a decision. Okay, does that help? Probably not, but at least you know some more of the facts. Okay, so anybody else have any questions at this point?
Yes, I've got one.
Okay, Jonathan. Yes, hello.
It's Jonathan. I've got one. I went to some expense to develop a video, and I got a professional guy to do it from the college, and he did a really excellent video, and I was really pleased with it. And then I tried to get it out there, and as far as I'm aware, only about 50 people have seen this video, even though it's in the public domain, and I think it's very good. And yet I see sort of videos of somebody's cat doing something extraordinary or interesting, and it gets, you know, 5 million visits. Yeah.
Yes.
And I just wondered, well, where am I going wrong? Why doesn't it go anywhere? It's very good, I think. You know, I'm biased, but you know, and yet it seems to be just, and especially as I've got all my friends on sort of a 3-line whip, that they've got to go and visit it. You know, and it never goes anywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do. Funny enough, I do an entirely separate day on marketing, on internet marketing. So I do a day, well, actually I do 3 days of WordPress. I do a day of Wix, and I do a day of marketing. So I'm kind of trying to condense some of all of that into an hour and a half, 2 hours on Zoom. So excuse me if I sort of rant or talk quickly or whatever, but I'll try and be concise. YouTube is the most fantastic platform for marketing. It really is brilliant. And if you have any video, especially well-produced video, you can build a really good audience on YouTube. Okay. The question is, how do you do that? Now, the simplest way, and obviously there are many different things you can try, but the simplest way is you run a cheap advertising campaign. Now, I've run advertising campaigns on YouTube. They don't have to be expensive. You can pay probably, usually to get results, you want to be paying something like £2 to £5, maybe even £10 a day. So it can add up. But if you're willing to spend a budget, a daily budget, you can build an audience for your video, and you can target them very specifically. You can say, I want these sorts of people. You can even say, I want people who watch this video to see my video. Just to give you an example, I do some of my music's very much like Vangelis, the composer Vangelis. And what I do is I say to YouTube, show my video to people who watch this Vangelis video, Chariots of Fire, for example, right? Everybody's heard of Chariots of Fire. So if you type in Chariots of Fire, if you go and watch one of the Chariots of Fire videos, my video will come up.
Very good.
And that happens every day. And I pay whatever I pay. I vary it. Sometimes I pay a couple of pounds. Sometimes I'm feeling that I want to throw a bit more money, so I pay £5 a day. And people every day see my video, and they visit they subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so that really is the only way to build an audience nowadays. You do have to spend a bit of money. Unfortunately, the days of free marketing, they're kind of drawing to a close. You know, in the 90s and the early 2000s, there were a lot of things you could do without having to pay anything. But there's so many people online now. There's so many people promoting themselves. There's some terrific stuff out there, well-produced stuff. You do have to throw a bit of money at it, but you can be clever about it. And like I say, YouTube is a terrific platform for video marketing. Okay. Okay,
can I just a supplementary question, and then I'll shut up for a while, let somebody else in. But so if I want to do that, how do I contact a company or?
No, you can set up your own advert channel. It's handled by Google now, because Google, of course, dominate the world. They own everything, and they own YouTube now. And so you set up what's called a Google advert or a Google Ads campaign. You do it through your Google account. So you go onto Google, you type in it used to be called AdWords. It's now just called Google Ads, I think. Yeah.
Called AdSense.
AdSense. No, that AdSense I think is slightly different. I think.
You're talking about running adverts on YouTube videos?
Yes.
AdSense.
Oh, okay, AdSense. My daughter's correcting me there. You see, I'm already in trouble now.
So what was that? Sorry.
She says it's called AdSense. Google AdSense. I'll have to check that though. But yes, basically you set up an advert.
What's the spelling of that?
Let me double check for you. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to call up my Google Ads. I think you can just type in adverts. Google adverts or ads. Yeah, it's ads. Not AdSense, Med. Sorry, it's Google Ads.
Right.
Google Ads.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So, and basically you go on there and it is complicated, Jonathan. When you're ready to do it, again, I'll send you a link to a video, and anybody else is welcome to ask me if they want to do this. I'll send you a link to a video
Yes.
that will explain to you how to do it. Okay.
I'll set my children on to helping me. I think they'll send the video on to them. Yeah.
Fine, fine. Patricia, sorry, hang on one sec, Marcy, because I know Patricia wanted to ask something. Yes. Patricia, go on. I know you wanted to ask something. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Suppose you want someone to set up a website for you, not
Yes.
not go via Wix but you want someone else to do it because you aren't confident.
Yes. The truth is that even getting someone else to do it, they'll probably use WordPress or Wix. So most of us now use the same tools. But yes, absolutely. If you want to hire someone else to do the job for you, that will make your life easier. But it's an expense, you know. I mean, really, to be honest with you, a starting price for a website is usually about £500 nowadays. And that's a starting price. You can expect to pay maybe £1,000 for an overall website. And if you're talking about selling items as well, like what they call e-commerce, having a shop on your website, then you are talking £1,500, £2,000 and above. So again, it does depend on what your budget is. It is easy, well, no, it is cheaper to do it yourself, but of course it's not easier, not easier by far. So
would they have to maintain it for you, or?
That's another minefield, which I speak about a lot. I have to say this, right? Most web designers don't tend to last very long. There is a burnout. You know, you get burnt out because it is a very complicated, stressful job. Most web design companies don't tend to really hang around that long. If they are still around after 5 or 10 years, then they're serious about what they do. But certainly small companies run by 1 or 2 people, they just end up losing interest and moving on because it is a very tough job to do. It's complicated, it's technical. The reason why I say that, and you asked me, in fact, what was exactly the question you asked me was how they were maintaining it. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do need to maintain it. They need to keep, well, not so much with Wix because Wix is self-contained, but with WordPress. Do you remember I mentioned earlier on about security and making sure that you're not hacked? That's the big problem with WordPress, is that you could get hacked and you need to get on the phone to your web developer to say, please fix it for me as quickly as possible. And if they're not around or they've disappeared somewhere, you're in trouble. And I often have people coming to me saying, help, I've got a WordPress website and it doesn't work anymore and the developer's gone or he's left the country, or, you know, he doesn't want to work on it anymore or whatever, or I've been hacked. Can you help fix it for me? Sorry if I cut out there for a second. Basically, you need to pick a company that you can trust and you can rely on, and someone who's been around for a while, who's not going to disappear. University students are great when it comes to getting things done cheaply. Don't get me wrong. If you can find a son or a grandson who's doing computer science and build your website, fabulous. You'll get it done very cheaply, but don't leave it in their hands. To get it off them as quickly as possible and under your own control, because they will be gone.
Watch the first half of the football match before I set up the machine. Sure.
Sorry, somebody say something.
I was going to say, just keeping on this theme, that if you do have to call for help, you have to pay.
I'll set it up.
Yes, basically you'd have to pay to be rescued. You'd have to pay. Yes.
No. But you can sort of set it to.
I think someone might need to mute themselves.
And, set it to.
Oh, it's
go.
Jonathan. Sorry, I can hear you. Right.
So,
any more questions?
Oh.
Yes, Patricia.
Would you recommend GoDaddy? I mean, they advertise quite heavily on the television.
They're good for domain names. So if you want to buy a domain name, GoDaddy's fine for domain names, but website design, I would pick someone who is local. you're going to need to talk to them. You're going to need to explain your ideas. If it's a website that you want to get their experience and their expertise. You know, I'd say websites are certainly one of those things where you do need to have a good relationship with the people building it, because they're building it and they're, you know, it's a bit like a home. You want the home to look nice. You don't want, you know, you want the walls to be flat and you want the carpet to be smooth, etc. So you do need to have a company that's close to hand and that you can talk to and you can express the things that you want clearly to them. It's so easy to get the wrong end of the stick, to have to sort of, if you're doing a long distance conversation, or if it's not through Zoom or whatever, it's very easy for the company to misunderstand what you want and do things wrong, do things differently. So I'd say, yeah, GoDaddy's okay, but tread with caution, basically. Make sure that you're getting what you want.
Clifford?
Yes, Cheryl.
Hi. Yeah, I think as I said on Saturday, I've got ClickPick, which I've had for years now. I set it up myself absolutely, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. It's in a mess. As I told you, I'm thinking of jumping on to the Wix skin with somebody that's going to help me with the initial setup. What I'm interested in is the protection of images. Because on ClickPicks, they put their own watermark through each image. What about Wix? Because if it's on the cloud, I mean, does that mean it's super safe, or do you still have to watermark? Or
Okay, right. So a couple of points there with Wix. Right, the first thing I was going to say, oh, I think it's just gone out of my head. Hang on a minute. Okay, so what was it? The first thing you said to me? Oh, a platform that you've been using.
Yeah, ClickPick.
I know about the images, but slightly before the images, you said something I wanted to say to you about Wix, which was putting it together. Oh, yeah, I hate it when that happens. I get a senile moment.
Probably because I was complicated.
No, not at all. Okay, I'll say something about image copyright.
Right. Okay.
I understand people are generally kind of wary about this idea about downloading images, and they'd like to try and prevent it. The truth is, you can't really prevent someone from getting an image of yours if they want it. What I'm saying is, yes, you can do clever things that maybe if you click on it or you right click, because often you can right click an image and then go to save, you can prevent those sorts of things. And generally you can do that. Yes, there are things on Wix that you can do that. But if someone wants that image, they can still get it in another way. I can get round those sorts of things quite easily. Did you? Oh, you're down there. I can get, if I wanted to get that image, even if you sort of put a thing on it to try and stop me getting it, I could just go around and get it some other way. So you can't ever really stop someone from getting an image. Yes, better off watermarking it. That's true. So in other words, before you put it on the internet, you put it in whatever, Photoshop, or do you use some online thing that lets you put your name as a subtle sort of like an overlay or a grayed out somewhere on the image, and that way your copyright is stated on the image. Of course, the drawback there is someone could just chop the image smaller and cut the bit with your name out. So really, at the end of the day, you can't avoid it. But the truth is, people don't really tend to do that much. I think in the early years of the internet, there was quite a bit of paranoia. But people don't, why should they take your image? I mean, I can go, there's a website called Pixabay, if you've ever seen Pixabay, millions and millions and millions of free images. I don't have to do it. I can just download and use what I want. It's all public domain. It's all free. So why would I want to steal your image?
I don't know. I mean, it's the paranoia, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I understand it. I mean, with my music, for instance, it's the same thing. People can download my music. They could get it through a variety of different areas. There's no way for me to copyright my music in that regard. I mean, yes, I can copyright it, but I can't stop people getting it. The truth is, lots of people pay for it. So I live off, my income comes from the people who buy it. And thankfully, there are a lot of decent people out there who like it and buy it. Sure, there is always going to be a percentage of people getting it for free. There's nothing I can do about that. You know, that's just life. That's the digital era that we're in, is that things are not proprietary, because it's very difficult to keep them secure and safe. But on the other hand, there are lots of opportunities for earning that we might not never have, we would never have had before. So, you know.
And the same applies to is it Pinterest?
Pinterest. Well, that is all about images, isn't it? That's image
yeah.
boards and things like that. Image sharing. Same thing again.
You can't protect yourself on that either, can you?
I think Pinterest do have they do prevent you from right-clicking and saving images. It's the same kind of thing. But the truth is, I could get those images in another way. In fact, I could just use a screen grabber, you know, a screen grabber.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll just grab it off the screen. You know, I'll just.
Yeah, because when I'm researching stuff, say like at the British Museum, and they say images may be subject to copyright. Yes. And some of them are, and I've actually know somebody that was followed by somebody from British Museum, and they asked them to pay for an image. This is a few years back now. But the point is, you know, I'm trying to protect. I mean, I don't know. I just think, well, copyright, then you've got something on the base of your, usually at the end somewhere on your website that says copyright. This is the artist's copyright.
Yeah.
So where does all that come into it? So your images are your copyright. Yeah. So I mean, like I'm in touch with DAX, and like if my image appears somewhere where I haven't given permission, I can claim, you know, financial reward for it or whatever. It shouldn't be there. I mean, it's a big sort of question with me, this copyright business.
Well, it's the same in the music world. You know, if I copyright my music through an association called the PRS, Performing Rights Society. So they have the titles of my tracks registered, and if someone uses my music, they should pay for the use. But and so that covers me for copyright, but it doesn't prevent people using it illegally. Doesn't prevent people listening to it illegally, downloading it illegally. There's nothing you can do about that. That's the digital
It's still
world.
a good idea. So it's still a good idea to put copyright somewhere on your website.
Yeah, or watermark your images, like you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Well, I don't know if it's relevant to this, but I've had quite a lot of times I've copywritten work, both writing in the form of books or running webinars. But in truth, it's different with pictures, because in reality, there is no such thing as copyright on ideas. And so even if you write a book, you can claim copyright for that book, but someone could take the ideas from that book. It's the same with, you know, if you run a presentation. So it's very hard to prove copyright on the web.
Yes, is the answer to that. Copyright is a minefield. I think it boils down to just, you know, earning what you can through your own work. So it's the same with my music. There are a lot of people that could copy my music. People don't tend to try and release it under my name, under their name. That would be outright sort of illegal. And I could certainly call on a number of societies to step in my place. And I'm sure that's true for writing, and I'm sure that's true for art as well. You know, you'd call on the association to represent you. But at the end of the day, the ideas, they can be lifted quite easily. But then how many times have we seen movies where we go, hang on a minute, that plot from that movie is a short story I read years ago, you know, or copied or whatever. People lift ideas from people all the time. That's, again, I suppose, you know, what was it? One of the great artists or writers said, you know, what is the highest form of flattery or something? Plagiarism is the highest form of flattery or something like that, or lowest? I don't know.
Oscar Wilde.
What?
Oscar Wilde, yes.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he himself probably lifted a few ideas here and there. I mean, I don't know, you know. I think at the end of the day, if you can have clarity in promoting yourself, because that's the key takeaway that I'd say, is clarity, promoting yourself. How do you promote your work clearly yourself and in the best and most economical way. And so you can earn from your own creative outputs. I've spent years learning how to do that, and my journey is not over. It never will be over. And I think that's true for many of us. We're all looking for ways to clearly promote ourselves, which I can talk about a bit more, obviously, but that's where our focus should be. I don't worry too much about copyright and plagiarists. There always will be them around, you know, just cast them aside and move on, sort of thing.
Yeah, I heard, I was reading a book, and Paul Revere, the American patriot, apparently he was a great plagiarist. Besides being an American hero, he was stealing imagery of rebel sort of leaflets that other people had created, but he said that he'd done them and just changed them a bit. But they're obviously complete rip-off from other people. So these Americans have been at it a long time, I think.
Experts, plagiarists. Yes. Well, that opens another whole can of worms for conversation that we'll save for another day.
You can ask for people to acknowledge your work if they use it.
Absolutely. In fact, Pixabay is a good example of that. Pixabay is a public website with millions of images, and each image has its own like copyright statement. So it can say, it says things like, you're allowed to display it without credit. You're allowed to display it, but you must supply a credit. Some say that you must supply a credit and a link to the artist's page. So there are various levels of allowed copyright on the internet. I think that you've seen something called Creative Commons is one of them, which is a Creative Commons license that allows you a license to reproduce an image, but not to claim copyright on that image. You have to cite the original author. If you look up Creative Commons online, you'll find the various strata of creative licenses that are available, and you may want to make a statement like that on your website saying, you know, these images are subject to a Creative Commons license of some description which protects you but still allows people to promote you. Because at the end of the day, if someone likes your image, they'll want to share it on Facebook, and you want it shared on Facebook. You want your images shared. You know, I want my music shared. So, you know, I've got to kind of be clear on by which basis I'm allowing people to do that. But I want it because the more people hear my music, the more people are going to discover me. And that's what it's all about. You know? So, yeah.
Great.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's sort of cutting edge stuff. In the news, you must have seen it. There's this non-fundable tokens.
Non-refundable.
That some lucky artist has got $68 million for his digital work.
Yes.
Is this linked to sort of Bitcoin and money laundering? I mean, what's going on, or is it just such good artwork?
I must admit, I haven't followed that at all. I'm sure there are several people here in this group who know more about that than I do. However, can I just say at this point that my friend who told me about the internet in 1995, who was the one who said to me on the telephone, Cliff, you have to check out this thing. It's going to be huge. It's called the internet. A few years later, I spoke to him again, and I said, almost in a joking way, do you have any other great pearls of wisdom, Steve? Because you were obviously turned out to be perfectly right about the internet. Is there anything else that you should tell me? He said, yes, Cliff, I'm going to tell you something that's even more important than the internet. I said, what? He says, Bitcoin. I said, Bitcoin? He says, Cliff, Bitcoin is going to be huge, mate. And you have got to get yourself some Bitcoin immediately. Guess what? I didn't get any Bitcoin. No. He got loads of Bitcoin. In fact, he started mining Bitcoin, whatever that means, right? I don't even know. I visited his house a few years later in Brighton. He had like 2 computers on all day long and all night. I say, what are those computers doing? He says, they're mining Bitcoins. I said, I don't know what that is. He's now a millionaire, multi-millionaire, Bitcoin millionaire.
Yeah.
It was very dodgy though, Clifford, at one time.
Maybe, but he's made money. So well, who am I to judge?
Yeah. Yeah.
He actually says to me, it's worth still investing now because it's only going to keep going up. So if there is some cryptocurrency involved with artists, I'd have a look at it. Have a look. Why not? Why the hell not?
Okay.
You know, for the sake of 500 quid or a few hundred quid or whatever, why not? You know, it's cryptocurrency. He believes it's the future. He's been right twice. How many people do I know who've been right twice in their lives?
You first, Clifford. You first.
Yeah, well, I'm what's the word of the phrase? I'm risk averse, I believe is the phrase. I'm a risk averse person.
Yes.
You know, and risk averse people don't generally make a lot of money in their lives. You've got to be what's the opposite to risk averse? Risk, I don't know, risk something.
Taker.
Yeah, risk taker. Thank you. I'm not a risk taker. I've never have been, and I kind of wish I was, but that's just not me. You know.
Cliff, do you want to answer any of the questions that were originally put to you? Or
Well, I was going to ask Melody to come and do a little bit on Instagram if she feels that she wants to. I think I've covered most of what I wanted to talk about on the internet. I mean, obviously, like I say, to cover these subjects in depth, it's usually, well, 3 or 4 days worth of time. But I've given you a few nuggets to sort of chew on. If you want me to do this again at some point, give me some advance warning on questions, and I can prepare something a bit more detailed for you if that's what you like. You know, by all means, you're always welcome to ask me. You'll always get an honest answer from me. I won't feed you a line. So, all right.
Just one question for Marcia. How much does your website cost?
It costs
my training, you mean?
No. To run it, it's about £13 a month.
Right. You didn't have to fork out any major sums in the beginning.
Are you talking about for Wix, the Harrow Art Society website?
No, I'm talking about my Vistaprint one. It's about £13. It can be from 10. I don't sell stuff on it. Then it would become more, but I update it myself. And as long as I keep doing it and don't forget how to do it, and if I do, then I'll send them a question and they'll give me an answer. But that's about it. It varies according to what you want to do. That's about the mid-price range.
Right. Thank you.
So actually, in a sense, it's equivalent to Wix. It's roughly sort of the same price range as Wix is per month.
Yeah, we pay yearly, don't we?
Yeah.
For Wix.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's about between £10 and £15 a month. It would be if you were paying monthly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Does that price depend partly on size?
More on functions, like you get actually the truth funnily enough, you've just reminded me of the thing that I wanted to say when someone else had asked me something and I said I'd forgotten what it was, and now I've just remembered what it was. With Wix, you can have a website and not pay anything. Okay, you can have a free website on Wix for as long as you want, but it has the Wix logo at the bottom.
Yes.
Well, that's all right.
Sure. If you're happy to have a Wix logo at the bottom saying made on Wix or something, or I think there's one at the top as well, actually. But if you're happy to put up with that, you can have a website for free and pay nothing. Okay. But of course, there's always a but, isn't there? But if you want a website that does a bit more than just page about me, couple of pictures, contact form, that sort of basic stuff. If you want to sell anything or you want something a bit more sophisticated, maybe a blog, then you're starting to pay. And the more things you add, the higher the price goes. I mean, it's not expensive, really, if you think about it. You can have quite a lot. I mean, our Harrow Art Society one's about whatever it is, £120 a year or £130 a year. But for that, there's a blog on there, there's galleries on there, there's various different bits and pieces that does more than just the standard Wix.
Yeah, I've got a blog on mine,
right,
and a gallery,
right,
and contact,
right,
you know, the usual stuff.
Right, so it's the same sort of thing. You're probably paying more for those little bits that have been added.
I don't know, because that's what I started it out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'm done for now. I'll let my daughter come on and answer some questions. Go easy on her because she's not a teacher as such, but she's very good with Instagram and TikTok. Does anybody know about TikTok? TikTok? Cheryl's up with TikTok. I barely know anything about TikTok, so.
Go Cheryl, down with the kids.
Hi, well, I've got the logo on my phone. I've looked at it, I've examined it. I've recently been on a social media course run by the Design Trust, who were very positive about TikTok not just being for kids.
It's not. It's not. Most of the people I follow on TikTok are probably over 30.
Okay, well, you know, I've
they're kids.
But also all ages. Like I follow people upwards of 70 years old. It really depends.
Okay, so tell us about TikTok.
TikTok is kind of like Instagram, but faster paced and what? Yes, it's Bethany is in the corner. She says it's addictive. It's faster paced. It's more. Instagram's kind of more focused on images and the bio, the description. Bethany, shush, and the description of the bio as well. But TikTok is more the video. The video is. Okay, well, come here and say it then. Don't be like shading.
Yeah, come on, Bethany. We want to see you.
Hi. You should have worked this out beforehand, girls, though.
It's
Really.
no good busting in. You just have to be going together.
I was just saying that TikTok is probably the best thing that you can do for your artwork. My friend, she just posts, you know, regular things fairly regularly, and her work is good. And it was a video, and it got 1.1 million views, like just in a matter of hours.
It's
like,
much easier to go viral on TikTok than it is to go viral on Instagram.
Just normal people can go viral. It's amazing. She got 600,000 likes. It's insane.
What was she doing anything particular?
I'm going to write that down as a title for a book. Normal people can go viral. Love it.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Was she doing anything sort of particularly unusual, or?
No, just her normal artwork.
It's a specific recipe as well. TikTok is more, because when you go on Instagram, you can kind of become well-known, successful by your product, whatever. To do well on TikTok, it's a specific recipe. It's you typically want to use sound, like audio, because every video you include has audio. Either it's your own audio, you talking, or it's songs, like particular songs. It's usually mashups as well. Like I'm really into people who combine songs and make a new song out of them. I'm really into that sort of thing. People can find your videos through songs. There are many ways, like a hashtag basically, there are many ways to locate videos like yours. And songs is one way. But yeah, so it's a specific recipe. It's the songs that you choose, typically songs that have come out recently by well-known artists. You make a video and you include this song, and that's how people find you. It's also the pace of your video, is the way you film it, has to be quite. Have any of you ever watched a Simon Pegg movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know, it does things. They're quite quick. It's like it's comical because it's quick.
Yeah, but also the thing is, like, that's good and everything, but you don't need to do that to go viral. You could literally just, like, the thing is with TikTok is it's so like, the algorithm supports everyone. It supports people who, well, generally it supports people who post regularly and and interact. And that's all you really need to do. Like, you don't need to go have all these fancy angles.
Sorry to interrupt, Bets. I think we're going to run out in a sec, but again, same as before, return to the same link if you want to continue.
You can't use the link more than once, Dad.
Yeah, you can. He's already used it more than once.
You can't use it more than once.
He's already clicked
All right,
it.
well, unfortunately, if the link doesn't work, then this will have to be drawn to a close, but hopefully we'll get one more round out of this, okay?
I'd like a session where these two girls talk to us about how they do a TikTok video.
That's a good idea.
Examples of viral making videos.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely. Here. Agreed. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yay!
Hello.
It works.
Hey. Wait for everyone to get back.
Yes, we're back. Yes.
I'm starting to feel a little usurped by my children now, because they are the next generation, and I quite frankly I look at TikTok and my head just spins.
Somebody was saying that they did this thing, an artist, I can't remember her name, but she did little felt figures and she sort of pushed them together in a cute animation, and she just called it Weasel Wednesday, or Wednesday's Weasels or something. They were little weaselly things, and she just woke up one morning and found she had like 4 million hits or something.
Oh, brilliant.
So, you know, so now every Wednesday she has to do her weasels, and she sells so much work. She's just like overpowered, you know. She has to kind of quickly make more felt figures. So if you want to sell, it seems like that's a really good platform.
A lot of people have made a lot of money out of TikTok.
It's the best platform, honestly.
It's the best platform right now, definitely, because it's the right pace. I think maybe for it's the right pace, and because I've started a small business as well, I've asked around people I follow, asked them what platform do you reckon skyrocketed your business, and they all say TikTok.
So how much money? I mean, like, what would you charge? I mean, like, if I've got a stack like this of A4 fashion drawings that everybody seems to love and says, oh, when are you going to sell them? If I put them on TikTok, I wouldn't know what kind of price to put them on at.
TikTok isn't a selling website. So what you would do is you would make videos of, for example, showing people how you package your products, showing people how you maybe walking them through how you produce some of your products. You're not selling stuff on TikTok. What you would do then is you have a profile and it has all the videos you've made, but then you link on your profile your Instagram, your website. So in your videos, you say to people, you can either put text on the screen or it's a video of you speaking and saying, go to my website. But you don't sell on TikTok. It's more just to get people to know you and recognize you, and eventually push them in the direction of your website, your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever.
Okay, so it's back to the website. You see, I knew it.
Yes, you have a solid website and probably a solid Instagram too.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I mean, on the subject of selling, you know, actually the nitty gritty of selling. Traditionally, the idea is that if you've got something to sell, you sell it from your website. You know, I have CDs, music CDs, and they are available for purchase on my website. And I have postage rates and a shopping cart. And when people go onto the website, they add the CD or a couple of CDs and they buy it and they pay the postage, and the order comes into me and I package it up and I send it off. And that is still very much the way things are done. However, I also have digital sales, and digital sales I don't handle through my website. Digital sales happen out there on the internet through Spotify, through iTunes, through Amazon, and much the same, I suspect, with imagery as well. You know, there are digital places you can sell your images, and then if people want it framed, or they want an original, they want a print of an original, they come back and buy it from your website. So yes, your website can often be still the ultimate place to end up when it comes to the sale itself. Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm getting a picture here now. which you've clarified so many things this afternoon, Clifford. Honestly, it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Any more questions about TikTok?
Oh, I think Grandma had a hand up.
Grandma's probably.
Yeah, I'd just like to say to Clifford, as I know your parents very well, and I can see, I looked on your website today, and I was very impressed to see how much wonderful music you've produced, and your website is lovely.
Thank
and I hope to purchase something as well.
Customer.
But really, that's that's me. I'm Karen. Yeah.
Karen. Yeah.
Karen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Karen. It's very kind of you.
Cliff.
Yeah. And did you design the website? Did you design the album covers yourself?
Yes, all the album covers are my own. Yes.
Lovely. They're really great.
Thank you.
And I love the one with the jazz, and I love the one you did when you were 17 years old. The first one you did.
Yes.
Wow. Great.
Thank you.
Well, I encourage all of you to go on Clifford's website and see how much wonderful music he's been making.
I like it. I don't even have to plug myself. Some other people are plugging me.
Well,
you signed Karen up straight away.
Yeah, I was always in PR anyway. PR or
okay.
design or something. Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, nice, very nice to see, and especially as your parents as well are so creative as well. It's great to see all of you. You know, Melody and all of you, the kids as well. It's great.
They're the new firm.
Can I just ask, if she can talk more about TikTok, how to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, so there were, I think 3 people had questions. Grandma, you had a question.
Well, no, it takes it away from that. The question is about this selling or not on Facebook, which we are dealing with right now, which I'm dealing with now, and which, for instance, Marty Berg, people are putting their prices and are happy to put them on to sell from Facebook. I don't know if Marty, is he there? Is he still there?
Has he gone?
Martin
he
Berg,
was
is he
there.
there?
No, he's gone.
No,
Don't know.
So
I mean, look, the Facebook allows you to sell from Facebook to some degree. I mean, it varies. They change the rules a lot with Facebook, which is very irritating. You know, one time it's easy to do something, then they take the functionality away, then they switch it with something else. It's a bit unpredictable, but generally the idea is you're not obliged to have to sell something from your website if there's an alternative available. If Facebook provides you with a shopping cart type arrangement where people can click and they can pay and pay via PayPal or whatever, maybe you can just do it from Facebook and not bother with the website. The thing is that often what happens is these platforms tend to change the rules quite regularly. The only thing you can really rely on in terms of longevity is your own website, because you know that you're not going to change your website. You know that your products are going to remain on your website available for as long as you pay for your website. So it kind of gives one some security when it comes to having a place to sell something. But really, the truth is, it doesn't matter where you sell it from. The point is how you're marketing it. How are you actually marketing it? And that's where all these other platforms come in, be they YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, it's how you market the product. And marketing, obviously marketing is a big subject, but I think the general idea, the takeaway nugget idea, is be original, be clever and original about how you do something. Make it fun, make it strange, offbeat, if you can, maybe slightly eccentric if you can, anything that might go viral. As I think you may said at the beginning, or Jonathan, I can't remember who, if it involves cats, great, involve cats. You know, get cats involved, because if you can get a cat to maybe wee on your you can get a cat to chew your art, or art that's been destroyed by my cat, you are guaranteed to get loads and loads of viral views. So, you know.
What about dogs? Any use?
Dogs do well too. Ferrets, I've seen a lot of ferrets, foxes. There's a woman on TikTok who works with ostriches. So she's become really close with ostriches. So she films videos of her hugging the ostriches.
And Jonathan could rent out his dog.
Well, my friend in Piers up in my friend up in the Orkneys, his poor little dog was bitten in his private parts by a stoat. I think that could attract a bit of attention.
That's
He's
a
all
winner,
right now,
Jonathan.
but,
That's a winner.
even though they had stoats. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Did you get it? Did you get it on film?
I'll get on to him. No, I didn't. No, I don't think he did, but he can restage it maybe, or
reenact it. Yeah, absolutely.
Take him to a place where there's lots of.
doggy.
Okay, I think we have another question, Cheryl.
Yeah, is there an optimum time to go? Because these people I was on course with seem to think that there were times to go on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that, time-wise, like morning, afternoon, evening?
Oh, I don't.
Good question.
I think you want to go on to, you want to post something when the majority of people see it. So say the majority of people go on Instagram at like 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, then that would be the best time. And I've spoken to a lot of people about this, a lot of artists about this, and they all say different things. So I would probably say, from what like the majority have told me, is like kind of before or after dinner, and then also lunchtime. But again, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you've got great content, people will see it either way, because then more people interact, and then it will like kind of boost the algorithm. So the way that it works is, if more people like your photo, you have more hashtags, you have more comments, you know, you post a lot on your stories, and a lot of people see, you know, people will look at your stories, more people come, and your account will be recommended. So it really is, it's mainly down to the quality of your content.
Also interaction as well. Like there's a scale of how people interact with, well, I'm talking both TikTok and Instagram. There's a scale of how people interact with your content that affects whether or not how boosted it is. For example, on both TikTok and Instagram, if people save your posts, because you can save them, people save your videos, if they add them to favorites, that's the best thing. And then it's followed by comments. So people interacting by leaving comments is great. Liking things it's always good, but it's not the best. But you still want like, because people judge your videos based on how many likes they have as well, whether or not they'll watch them. But in terms of, because on TikTok as well, it gives you your analytics. On TikTok, it tells you
they do on
which country, Instagram as well. They tell you which country people are mostly viewing your content. TikTok's very useful as well, because a TikTok video can be anywhere from a second to a minute maximum. And it really depending on the type of content. It really depends on the type of content, the audio that you use, but your analytics will tell you how much of your videos people are watching. For example, I make sewing videos, shock horror. I make sewing videos on my TikTok. And in the early days, I was making 40-second videos, and people were only watching them for about 10 seconds. And that's obviously not great. So I started changing up my tone, making my videos shorter, but quicker paced. Each clip is a little bit shorter. And now I've got people watching for the full length of the video.
Right.
Pretty good. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Analytics on each video you. It's a bit of trial and error as well. Like it really depends on what your content is. There are so many different arenas of, I know you're probably all going to go on there for art, but there are thousands of artists on there. There are people with cat videos, people with ostriches. Me and Bethany discovered this guy recently who takes modern songs and adds a saxophone solo to the modern songs, and he's gone viral, and we think he's fantastic. And it's just a random hobby that he has. But yeah, I mean, you're probably all going to be on there for art, but
I mean,
that's right.
If someone came up with some sort of wild left field idea, like taking a classic painting and painting it backwards or some crazy thing, you'd probably find that would go viral. And even though that wouldn't necessarily be your main line of work, it wouldn't be your main idea.
There you are, Cookie. One for you.
It would bring.
Bethany can do upside down paintings, which she's already done.
Okay, but the general idea is that if you're doing something unusual and maybe slightly eccentric or off the norm, people will go, well, that's different, and they'll see you, and you'll draw an audience. It doesn't need to be the main thing that you do. The main thing you can do will be whatever it is you do. It's just thinking outside the box and thinking in an original and inventive way that kind of gets you on the map, basically.
I would disagree, actually. I think that a lot of the time, people who do very similar things become much more famous than people who do different things. Because, like, for example, a lot of the time, artists draw pretty girls using Procreate, and they're attractive drawings, and they get really famous because people like to see that kind of stuff. I think, yes, whilst like kind of unusual out of the box things are really good and really interesting, it doesn't necessarily, it's not like what the majority likes necessarily. So if you want to get not famous, because you can get famous in any way, you don't have to do like fancy, you don't have to do unusual out of the box things, and you don't have to draw the cliche pretty girl, but the amount of things that I've seen, like there's so many artists who draw very similar things and all have like hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. And then you have another so for example, who I don't know, so let's just say there's an artist who always draws pretty girls, posts the process, because the process is important as well. People like to see that process video. And then there's another account, for example, this artist who I really like at the moment called Bernadette Timoko, who's really nice. I've spoken to her a bit. And she posts really strange, unusual art, and she's only got 27,000. Yes, it's a lot. Yes, you can still get followers, but it's not what the majority likes. But then again, it doesn't matter, because, it's not like the Harrow Art Society isn't going to kind of change their art style to suit the masses, But the point is, like, yes, it helps to be unusual and out of the box, but the main and most important thing is posting regularly and posting high quality content. That's the most important thing, and being engaged, actively engaged.
I think it's a combination of both those things as well. Like, people follow you, but you have some followers who come and go. They see one of your videos, they like it, they immediately follow you, and then you post another video and they're like, actually, I'm not that into it. Because they assume the one video they saw is representative of all the others. You post the occasional kind of, maybe not shocking, but like interesting out of the box thing. But TikTok favors and people favor consistency. That's how you'll keep regular followers. You'll gain a ton of followers. My best friend, she posts like, she mostly just posts videos for herself. It's her like doing tags where people ask questions, she answers questions. She posted one video which was about 15 seconds long of her wearing a nice dress with makeup on, literally just like doing that or something, and she got 100,000 likes.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Literally doing nothing. And so she
that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. She went from having about 20 followers to having about 7,000 in one night.
Wow.
So that was new and exciting or whatever, but she's now got consistent. She obviously gained a bunch, but then it dropped. But now she has consistent followers, because now what she posts is very much similar.
Also, another point, a lot of people try and buy followers, and a lot of people just don't do that. Don't do that, because the thing that you want is loyal followers. You don't want, you can have 1,000 followers, but it's likely that they're not loyal. What you want is generally people that you kind of know, you engage with their posts. So Antonella, for example, on her Instagram, she's always liking other people's posts. She's always
yes, she does.
Yeah, she's great. She's great, and people engage with her because she reposts other artists. Other artists repost her as a result, kind of like say thank you. She's not scared of having more, like following more people than following her. A lot of artists kind of won't follow you back because they don't, their number of, do you understand what I mean? Like the number of who they follow, they don't want it to be higher. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like people don't generally look at how, like the amount of people that you follow. I think, at least, I don't look at it. I look at how many followers someone has.
People get to know Antonella that way as well.
Exactly. She has
eventually, if they're interested, they'll find her somehow.
She has loyal followers. So I had like 240 240 followers about a month ago, and it's just shot up. Like I've gone up like 75 in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, it's good for like a small account, me currently. You know, that's not necessarily normal, but it's because I've been putting such an effort into reposting other artists and commenting. Comments are the best thing. Comments are better than likes. You comment on another artist's post and you do it regularly, so they get to know who you are.
They see your name pop up and they're like, oh yeah, this person like is interacting with me a lot. I wonder what they're doing. And then they go and view you and they follow you.
Also,
something? I have a problem with liking things that I don't like.
Well, you don't have to like them. No, you don't have to like them if you don't like them.
Even if I like the artist and I like a lot of what they do, and I know that for a fact that they might like most of my stuff, I have a real problem with liking stuff that I actually don't like.
Well, I would say do it anyway. Like, what's the problem? Because it doesn't take anything away from you. It's not like all you do is like show that you support this artist and their work in general. Like, you know, my friends may not necessarily like a post that I do, but they like it anyway because they know that they want to support me and like boost my account anyway. So I would suggest, liking anything that you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you about copyright? I've heard that Facebook, when you post a photo on Facebook, they own that photo, be it an image of your artwork or.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so yes, there has been some talk. There was a lot of sharing going on last year about Facebook's rights and so on, and what your rights are to your own data, etc., etc. We did talk a bit earlier on about copyright stuff as well. I think, right, the general idea is that when you upload data to any of these sharing platforms, the data itself is held on their servers. And effectively you are saying that it is public domain. In other words, you're allowing it to be viewed by others, so others can view it and share it and so on. But they don't own copyright. Is that there is a distinction between who owns the copyright to something and whether you are placing something in an environment that allows it to be shared. I think that's where some of the confusion has lied with Facebook. The truth is, you know, Facebook, they are providing an open sharing platform, and you are by nature of making it available, consenting for it to be shared. And they have to make it that legally clear that you are consenting for things to be shared if they are on this platform. But that doesn't mean that your copyright is infringed in any way. Your copyright still remains owned by you. And the general idea is that you belong to an association. I don't know what the equivalent is. I mentioned earlier on, as I'm a musician, I'm a member of the Performing Rights Society, which ensures that my copyright remains mine and people shouldn't basically infringe it. And if they do, I'm entitled to take steps to protect my copyright. But Facebook can still, you know, share my music and so on if I make it available.
Yeah, fair enough. So you want to promote what you've just painted or something you've done, you know, if you've been on traveling or something exciting, you know, and it is lovely to share with other artists and see what everyone's been doing. But as you say, it doesn't take away the copyright. So that's good. And that's probably logical. It's like intellectual property, isn't it? Or something they call it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Any more questions?
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, can I mention about this? I want to send out this email to everybody to tell them about putting their artwork on this special page album.
Right. Shall I just quickly highlight that for everyone so we know what we're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea.
Right. Let me just. I'm just gonna share a page. I'm just going to share my screen. If you bear with me 1 minute.
And also about the bubbles, Cookie.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
The bubbles. Because you've got your bubble on every picture, and Gordon has as well.
Clifford will tell you about that.
Okay.
And the only way around that is by posting it yourself.
But
so I'm trying to get everybody. You can't.
Get rid of them.
I don't think so.
Because on Roy's picture, we've got Gordon's name.
I know. That's because Gordon posted it on behalf of Roy.
I know, but it looks like it's.
I know. Ask Clifford, but I don't think you. Ask Clifford if they can be got rid of, but I don't think so. Ask him.
Clifford.
Right.
The only way to get rid of it would be to.
Can everyone see my screen here?
No. Yes. Started.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So I'm on Facebook here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just did a search. If you look at the top left, you can see I've just done a search for Harrow Art Society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've got two main things have come up here on the right. We've got the Harrow Art Society group and the Harrow Art Society page. Okay.
Right.
Now that's not entirely clear what the distinction is between the two of those things. And that needs to be thought about, how we make that clearer. Probably on the website, we would say, click here for the Harrow Art Society page, click here for the Harrow Art Society group. Okay.
What about the third one?
The third one is the same thing again. It's just like highlighting something on that page. So the top two are the main two, and then everything below that are other bits, related bits like posts and things like that. Again, a bit confusing, but that's the way Facebook works. But the only two presences we have on Facebook, as far as I know, is the page and the group. Okay. Now the page, which is the second one, is kind of like continuous news, but it's only one way. In other words, members can't post on the page. Only the administrators can post on the page. So that's kind of like official stuff like events or news, managed things, in other words, specific managed things. And that's fine, and generally, you know, that's good for promotion, but most of the action in terms of you know, comments and things going on would go on in the group. Okay. And that's where that's where galleries would be. If you want to have your own gallery and use Facebook as a place of storing your gallery would be in the group, not on the page.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into the group now. If I click on the group, my computer's running a bit slow because it's doing several million things all at once here, but here we are on the group. So on the group, any member of the group can post. Okay. So if you're a member of the group, not of the Harrow Art Society, that's something else, but of this particular Facebook group, then you can post in the group.
But hold on, because they have to have paid to become a member.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you basically you join the society, and that's one thing. And then if you want to be a member of the group, you join the group separately. And whoever's running the group, which is my mum at this stage, I believe, and I don't know whether anyone else has administration rights to it. But basically, any administrator can then say, this person who's joined the group is a member, I'll let them in. And if they're not a member, then one writes back going, you're not a member, but have you thought about being a member? And basically it becomes kind of marketing in itself. So the people who see the group, they want to post in the group, they can't, they want to join it. Then they suggested, well, why don't you join the Art Society? They join it and you get more members. So in a roundabout way, it becomes a way of getting more members. You know, it's just another one of those things. But this is effectively only members who are members of the group can post in the group. All right. Now, the bit I want to fast forward to is here along the top. Can you see about, discussion, announcements, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end, you've got something called media. If you click on media, you now have like galleries. The start of the gallery sort of section. And the actual galleries would be in albums. So if you go to albums, which is the button here, then you can see groups of pictures, galleries effectively of pictures.
Right.
If you want to add your own, which I recommend that you do because we want everyone on there, you click create album, which is here. Okay.
Right.
Click on create album.
No, it's a shame.
Creates a new album for you. Give it a name. So I'm just going to put a bit of blatant self-promotion here. And then I'm going to upload some pictures. So I just click this button underneath, upload photos. Click on that.
What I've done all this.
Go and find my images, whatever I want to put in there. So let's just quickly go to music, artwork, albums. I'll just pick some small album pictures. Take a couple of album pictures. You can select more than one if you
lovely.
want. You select 5 albums, click open. They all load in. Quite straightforward. Can have a little description under each one.
Yeah.
So I can type whatever I want here. Oops, if my spelling was any better, that would help. Etc. etc.
Yeah.
And then when I'm happy and I'm ready to make my gallery live, excuse me, that's just warning me about Zoom. When I want to make my gallery live, I click post down the bottom left of the screen, if you can see that.
Yeah.
I click post, and in a second or two, my gallery should be live. Here it comes. There it is. So now if I want to go back and see my gallery along with everybody else's gallery, how do I do that? There.
That's great.
There on the right, and there's my gallery there. Okay. And then finally, if I want to share that gallery, so let's say I want to tell someone about it out there in the world of cyberspace, I've got to give them the link to the gallery. And if I click on my gallery now, so I'm going to click on that button there, you see this at the top here, that at the very top there is the link to my gallery. So if I post that link somewhere, or I send it on an email to someone, or I put it on my website, it will take them directly to this gallery. Okay, does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah,
I think everyone.
Cliff, can I say something that if the member themselves does this, then only their name comes up.
Correct.
If I do, as I've done 3 of them now, my name is included, and
correct.
It's because Facebook has done it like that, and it's a bit misleading.
Well, that's, yeah. Who uploaded the pictures is the name associated. So if I click on this gallery here, Susan McLaren.
Yeah.
Hello. It's not actually showing a picture, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Those are all her pictures.
All her pictures.
No, I meant on the right. On the right, I'm not seeing the name of. Oh, she uploaded them herself, did she?
No, I did.
Well, then what? Where are you? I don't see you coming up here.
It just clicked up on the top.
Yes, Cookie's name came up.
Comes up. Click on one of her pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Right. Sorry, you're right. Yes. Okay. Once you're viewing a picture on the right, you see the person who uploaded it. And of course, Mum uploaded it, so it's Mum. So the only way around that is that Susan basically uploads her own gallery. And then once that happens, Mum takes this gallery down, and then it will just be Susan's gallery under her own name that's there. Basically, everybody should be uploading their own gallery.
I just don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Well, then they'll have to put up with your name being there. I mean, that's the only way to do it.
Well, the thing, I just want to tell everybody that I have just composed an email which is virtually exactly what Clifford has just told you. Take you step by step, and you can do it yourself. And I'll be sending it out very soon.
Lovely.
That's great, Cookie. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Brilliant.
Good idea.
Yeah, great, Cookie. Yeah.
Cookie,
Organising.
can we post more? Is there a limit to the amount we can post?
I don't think so.
No, there's no limit. You can post as much as you like.
I've got 600 if you'd like.
Yes, there is a limit. Suddenly we've just imposed a limit.
Yeah, you don't want to bore people to tears. Yeah. Yeah, 599 is fine, but not 600.
Everybody has a threshold.
Yeah. Just a bit of a problem that I need to tell you is that having done 3 of them, one had 2 pictures. David Williams, I think I saw David, he's actually on this.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, so he only had 2. I only had 2 of his pictures. And then Susan McLaren had as many as you saw. And the other one that I did was Martin Berg. Now, what I noticed was when you go to the prior page, the off the album page, but to the members page, all of those come up. And really it's too much, because it means there's too much stuff for people to wade through. So my suggestion is that you should, my suggestion to the members, it's a shame because some of you will have missed this, is that you should put in, say, 4 current ones, maybe ones you want to sell, put all the details that you want to do on them, leave them up there for a period of time, and then put on something else. My personal opinion is you shouldn't put on all your stuff all at once, because it means, first of all, it means there's a whole stream of art going up, and then there's no room for anybody else to post anything. In other words, it's not fair, in other words. So that is my suggestion. At the end of the day, you'll do what you like, but you'll see, once you start doing it, you'll see that that's what happens. Okay?
I think to clarify that, perhaps in a slightly different way, the idea would be when you create a gallery like I've just done, don't fill it in one go. In other words, put 3 or 4 or 5 pictures in, and then leave it for a few days or a week, and then come back and go back to the same gallery like this one and put more pictures in it, because you can go back here, and can you see on the right it says add photos, videos? You just add another 3 or 4, because every time you add new things to anything inside a group, it all goes onto the front page. So it gets added as a post. If you scroll down here, or is it front page? Sorry, no, discussion. The page called discussion, which is the front page. It usually appears here as you add them. Funny enough, my gallery hasn't. I don't know, why is that? Why hasn't my gallery appeared?
You haven't done it.
I just did it. It's there in it's there in media. I've added my gallery. My gallery was in the albums here, see? But if I go to discussion, my gallery isn't there. That's interesting. Why is that?
There it is. Look.
Not a member.
There it is. Recent media. Recent media.
Where? Don't see that. Recent. Oh, recent. I'm not even in recent media, am I?
Valerie here is saying it's because you're not a member.
But but how come I've managed to add a? Yeah. I've added a gallery. I am a member. I am a member. You made me a member.
I made you a member. Yeah, you haven't paid your subs, but I made you.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. But why is my gallery not? My gallery has not appeared on the discussion page.
Maybe you didn't click it for discussion.
Anyway, look, if I do want to promote my gallery, right, then what you do is you go back to your gallery. So let me just show you this one last thing. Go back to my gallery, take this link at the top, of my gallery, copy that link. So I went right click, copy. Then I go back to the discussion here and paste it in this new post.
Right, okay.
And then I can, once I've done that, I can get rid of that address and say, hi, everyone. Because I didn't get automatically included, I'm promoting it again.
Okay.
Right. And then I post that.
Okay.
And then that should appear on the discussion page.
Very good. Okay.
And there it is. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Another question. Angela, hang on, while we're on that, just one question. If you should sell a painting from that page and you no longer want it to be up there, can you get rid of it?
Yes, you just go back to
question.
You
exactly my question.
Oh, okay, great. You can delete things quite easily from your gallery by going to the gallery itself. So I can go in here, click on there, click on the picture, and then is it under here? No, there's a delete somewhere. It's just I've got you guys in the way. Hang on, let me just move you guys out of the way here.
Top left. They're all going right click.
No, top left is just to close the window.
Just closes it, yeah.
The picture still exists. There is a delete here somewhere. I can't remember where it is. Hang on.
Right on the picture.
3 dots.
Yeah, 3 dots. No?
There it is. 3 dots and then delete photo.
Yeah.
Where's the 3 dots?
On the right-hand side next to the name. Oh, God, I've gone and closed it. Hang on. There.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, 3 dots.
You go down and delete photo.
Oh, do. Yeah.
All right, the bin.
Can I just interrupt here? I'm going to have to leave, but I just wanted to thank you for so much. It's
Our
been
pleasure, Jonathan. Our pleasure. Nice to see you.
very, very helpful. I'm
Good.
sure lots of other people.
Helen's off, Jonathan.
Sorry?
Regards to Helen.
Yes, she's doing fine. We're getting a lot better with the dialysis machine.
Good.
Great.
Excellent.
We've had our moments, but we're getting better and better. So that's
Oh, glad to hear that.
Yes, that is good news. Exactly.
yeah. Thanks.
Good news, Jonathan.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Hi, John.
I just wanted to point out.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Brilliant talk. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let everyone back in again.
Yeah. Okay. What were you going to say? Yes.
Right. So I'm just going to share my screen again because I was on Facebook there and shared that. Hang on 1 sec because my computer is throwing a bit of a wobbly. It's trying to do too many things at once, I think. How are we doing here? Oh, bear with me a sec. Computer's having a bit of a meltdown.
Well, I'd like to know how you do that, actually sharing the Facebook screen.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, I will show you how to do that as well. Hang on.
It says a green bottle, a green thing on the bottom of the page, share screen.
That's right.
Oh, right, okay.
Where?
There.
Oh, there.
All right, got you. Oh, got you. Okay, thanks, Angela. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to admit people.
Oh, I see the 3 dots now.
Yes. Yeah. Got it.
Well.
Okay, so when I deleted my picture from my gallery, it's also disappeared from the post that I made. Can you see it's gone from the post?
Yes.
Which is great. So that the two are linked together, basically.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because
and if you're not happy with a post, if you've done a post and you want to edit the post, again, it's the 3 dots will do it. So you click the 3 dots and you can go back into edit again and edit the post. Just don't get confused because you've got a gallery and a post and they're 2 different things. So if you want to change the gallery, you've got to go back to the gallery. If you want to change the post, the text of the post, then you've got to do it here. Yeah.
Okay.
And if one found that somebody was putting in, I don't think it's ever going to happen because we've made suggestions, but if we ever found that somebody was putting in too many pictures in their gallery and that other people were getting, well, I don't suppose it would happen for a minute, but other people were saying, well, I can't post anything. There's too many pictures there. Yeah, I know. One could somebody else, for instance, me, delete that post.
Yeah, an administrator can delete any post, but only the person who's made the post can delete their own post. So in other words, if I'm just a member of the group and I want to delete someone else's post, I can't do it.
Okay.
Members should remember that people viewing their pictures in a gallery will eventually get bored of seeing the same ones. So it's not clever to post all your pictures.
That's a good point.
That's right.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Maybe it should be said with the instructions, you know.
A suggestion that was so useful, having that shared screen. If that could be just a small video sent out to all the members.
Well, actually, Angela's recorded this, but I was also going to say, Angela, that I've also recorded this whole Zoom chat from Zoom. So it will be on this Zoom presentation. So I suppose I
is that where you click on at the bottom where it says record?
No,
Is that how you record it?
When I set up the Zoom meeting, I did it on the website, on the Zoom website. And once you put all the details in, at the end of the form, it says, do you wish to record the presentation on your local computer? And I said, yes. So it gets automatically recorded to my computer.
See, this is what I'd like to know, how to do a Zoom presentation, because I might want to do one in the future. So I'd quite like to learn that.
All right, I'll quickly show you, but then I've got to go and have a cup of tea, because otherwise I'm going to faint.
Well, maybe do that another time. Maybe do that for another time.
You can come back, and the girls can come back if they're happy to do that. If Melody hasn't gone back to uni and
okay, well, that's up to you. That's up to you. Yeah, I can do that. Well, it's a very, I can show you that I can answer that one question quickly if you want me to.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yes, yeah. Okay,
while we're on screen share, if I pop over to the Zoom website. Okay,
yeah.
So give it a minute to load up. More than a minute, no doubt. Here's the Zoom website. Move this down here.
Probably find it on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yes, stuff will be on YouTube. I'm just going to move this down here. So if I go into my account, I've got an account on Zoom, a free account. I don't pay.
Yeah.
Then I want to create a new meeting.
Yeah.
So I click on meetings on the left.
Yes.
You can send this out as well, Clifford.
Okay, and then I click schedule a meeting on the right.
Where's that? Schedule a meeting?
On the right.
Oh, yeah.
Button on the right there.
Yeah, got it, yeah.
Put in the name of the meeting.
Yeah.
I don't usually bother with the description. Set the date, whatever it happens to be. Time, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it says, do you want a duration of an hour? And then underneath it says, actually, you only get 40 minutes.
40 minutes, yeah.
Which is like, well, why offer me an hour then? But okay, 40 minutes is fine.
That's because of upgrade now.
Yeah, but basically, as you know, you just revisit the same meeting again and again. As long as everyone's prepared to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you scroll down, don't need to worry about any of this. I usually have waiting rooms switched on so that people, if they join before I come in, at least they know that they're kind of they're queued to come in the meeting, if you see what I mean. Then I usually switch these two on, host switch on, because I want to have video myself, and anyone who's in the chat also to have video. And then here, this is the crucial one: automatically record meeting on the local computer.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So what will happen is about halfway through the meeting, your computer will start slowing down a little bit, which is what mine has been doing, while it saves that meeting on your computer, on your actual home computer.
Oh, right, okay.
So I couldn't record on this and record on my computer as well.
Well, you might be able to do both, but it would get very slow. I mean, my connection has been a bit slow today because it's recording as well as me talking as well as screen share, so it gets a bit slow.
So will you edit your recording?
Yeah, the end result is an MP4 video file.
Yeah.
And you can edit MP4s in a variety of different things. So yes, you can edit the video.
Very good. It's so simple.
Yeah, it's great.
I gave myself a fortnight to study it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay. Well, I think we're all going to go now because I've got to have my cup of tea.
Yes.
Bye, all.
So have we. Thank the girls.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you. Yeah, that was very good, guys.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Very good.
Very much.
Very good, and very good for the girls too.
Good. I will pass on your favourable comments.
Lovely. Thanks.
Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Cheers. Bye. Bye all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.